Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra. Today's class will be a restorative Yin Yoga class. So please start in a cross-legged position and we'll come into an easy fold. So just uncross your legs a little bit and bring your right ankle in front of your left. And from here start to fold down, walking your palms forward, lowering chest and head down onto the mat. And if your forehead doesn't quite make it all the way down onto the ground, you can always use a block or a pillow just so you have something there to support you. And make sure you're rolling both shoulders down and away from your ears so there's plenty of room for your neck here. Keep the spine nice and long and start breathing in and out through the nose, softening into that right hip. Start to walk your way out of the pose, bringing your shoulders back over your hips and switching sides, so this time your left ankle will be in front of your right and then go right back down into your fold. Maybe stacking your palms, using a block, whatever you need to do to get comfortable here. Make sure that both sides of your body stay nice and long. You want to make sure you're not collapsing through the front of your body, collapsing through the chest. Maintain length through the spine and start focusing on releasing that left hip this time. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Last 5 or so breaths here. Getting a little bit deeper into the pose, allowing your upper body to really melt down towards the earth. Slowly start to make your way out of the pose. And we'll come onto hands and knees, transitioning into a wide-legged child's pose. So bring your big toes to touch, start with your knees maybe shoulder width distance apart, and then you can play with having them a little bit wider or narrower. Sink your hips onto your heels and slowly start to reach your palms forward, melting head and chest down onto the mat. And here as well, if your forehead is not quite touching the mat, you can always play by placing a block underneath your forehead, or maybe using a pillow or a bolster. Whatever you need to do so that your upper body can be as soft and relaxed as possible here. You don't want to be resisting the floor with your arms or using too much tension. Really focus on melting into the pose, allowing your hips to sink as close to your heels as possible. And if you feel any pinching in your lower back whatsoever, simply draw your knees closer together and maybe use a block to prop yourself up. Come back to your breath. Make sure there's plenty of space for your neck here, so you're rolling your shoulders down and away from your ears. Feel the ribs spread from side to side with every inhale and sink further into the ground with each exhale. You're about halfway through the pose, so just pay attention and notice if you started tensing up any areas of your body that you can soften further into. Focus on releasing any leftover tension and keep breathing. Start making your way out of the pose, lifting head and chest, and coming back onto all fours. We're going to come into a butterfly shape, lying down on our bellies. So go ahead and slide down onto the mat, laying down, and from here you'll want to keep your knees apart and bring the soles of your feet to touch. So exactly like how we do Baddha Konasana legs when we're normally sitting or laying down on our backs, but this time we're doing it down onto our stomachs. So sometimes it'll feel better to stack your palms and rest your head down onto your hands, or you can reach your arms alongside your body and turn one cheek down onto the mat. You really just want to make sure here that your pelvis and upper body stay fully grounded down onto the mat. And the only thing that probably won't be down onto the ground are your ankles. So just keep holding the pose, stay connected to your breath, and over time your ankles will start to drop a little bit closer towards the mat. If you need any padding under your knees, you can always roll up a blanket or turn over towards the long edge of your mat. Last minute or so in the pose. See if you can relax a little bit more. Breathe into the intensity and resist the urge to move or fidget. Start straightening your legs to gently come out of the pose and make sure you're moving really slowly here. Stay laying down on your stomach. We're going to be coming into Sphinx pose next. So keep your legs straight and you'll want to bring your ankles about math width distance apart so they're not touching. Bring your forearms down onto the mat just so you can slowly start to lift your head and chest off of the ground. Coming into a little bit of a heart opener here. Press your knuckles down into the mat and reach your heart forward, not worrying about how high you're going, but instead feeling as if you could really reach your heart forward and get a little bit longer through the spine. You'll be able to control how deep you go into this back bend by how close you walk your elbows towards your shoulders. And some people will prefer to keep their head up high here, and sometimes it feels nice to drop the head down altogether, chin into the chest. So just play around with whatever works for you. Keep rolling your shoulder blades down your back so there's plenty of room for your neck here. Pelvis stays grounded down onto the mat. tailbone is pointing towards your heels. And make use of this nice space through the upper body by really breathing deeply, filling up the belly, filling up the lungs, ribs spread from side to side, front to back, and hold this pose for a minute or two longer. And let's release this pose, laying back down onto your belly, and let's roll over onto our backs. Please bend both knees, have the soles of your feet flat down onto the ground. We're going to be setting up for reclined pigeon. You might need a strap for this one. You'll just have to see what the flexibility is like in your hips. So start by hooking your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, and if this is enough of a stretch in your right hip, stay exactly where you are. Otherwise, you can reach through and start to pull your left knee in towards your chest. So this might be where you need a strap. If you aren't able to grab the back of your thigh or the front of your left shin, you can always use a strap to bring that leg closer towards you. And wherever you are in the pose, you really want to make sure that your head and shoulders stay fully relaxed down onto the mat. You want to be using as little arm strength as possible so that this really becomes a restorative posture. And you also want to make sure that you're flexing your right foot so that you're protecting your right knee. And once you've settled into the pose, tune back into your breath and send it all the way down deep into that right hip, keeping tailbone down onto the mat. The entire length of your spine is fully supported. Maybe closing the eyes and bringing the attention inwards. Find your nice, smooth breaths right here. Start releasing your left foot back down onto the mat. Uncross your right ankle from over your left thigh, and it might feel good to just stretch your right leg down onto the mat here. And only when you're ready, we'll go and explore the second side. So you can bend both knees again, and this time you'll be hooking your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, making sure that you're flexing your left foot. Either stay here, use a strap, or reach through and start pulling your right knee in towards your chest. One side might be tighter or looser than the other one, so just adjust however you need to. You want to make sure that on a scale of 1 to 10, the intensity is only about a 6 or a 7. You don't want to be experiencing too much discomfort and certainly no pain whatsoever. So just listen to your body, respect your limits, and don't push yourself too far. We're really looking to make this practice a restorative practice, something that will make you feel good after you're done. So relax head and shoulders down onto the mat and come back to your breath. Maybe closing the eyes here as well. Let's go ahead and release that side as well. And same thing like we did before, maybe just stretch out your left leg down onto the mat. Just resetting both legs from here. And now we're going to be coming into supported bridge pose next. So please grab a block or a bolster. Bend both knees, soles of both feet are flat down onto the ground. Start curling your tailbone under and slide the block directly underneath your sacrum. Start with the lowest level first, but you can always explore that second level of the block, going a little bit higher. You want to make sure that your block is placed directly underneath your sacrum, right underneath your tailbone. If you're experiencing any pinching in your lower back, it probably means that your block is a little bit too far up and you need to shift it down. And then from here, if this is already quite an intense stretch for you, then please stay exactly where you are. Otherwise, you can play with straightening your legs, planting both heels down into the mat. And bring your arms wherever is the most comfortable to you. So maybe leaving them on your belly, reaching them out to either side, palms facing up, and take a few breaths here, getting a gentle stretch through both hip flexors and relaxing through the lower back. And let's pull our right knee in towards the chest. So this is another pose where you might need to use a strap to be able to pull that right knee in. So if you're unable to grab it with your hands, just reach the strap under your thigh and use the strap to bring that leg closer. Otherwise, you can just hold on and pull it close towards your belly, getting a little bit of a deeper stretch through your left hip flexor deep into the psoas muscle. You'll notice right away if this stretch is a little bit too intense with your left leg straight. If that's the case, just keep your left knee bent, sole of the left foot flat down onto the mat. And as always, keep head and shoulders firmly relaxed down onto the ground. Now let's release the right leg back down and slowly switch sides. So this time you'll be pulling your left knee in towards your chest, keeping your right leg extended, or maybe bending through the right knee, sole of the right foot down onto the mat. Whatever feels best into your hips, and take about 10 deep breaths right here. Release your left foot back down onto the mat, and if you had your right leg straight, please bend it again so that both knees are bent, soles of the feet down onto the mat. Gently lift your hips up and turn your block so that it's on the lowest level possible. We're going to come into a legs up the wall variation, so just a gentle inversion to finish up the class. Start to straighten your legs, pointing your toes up towards the sky. Reversing the blood flow a little bit, arms go wherever is more comfortable here. And you have a lot of options for your legs, so don't worry about keeping them super straight. If it feels a little bit better to keep a bend in the knees, then go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. And I like to do a few ankle rolls here, or pointing and flexing the toes, just getting a little bit more movement into the lower body. And another really nice option could be to come into a straddle shape with the legs, so dropping your legs open or keeping them straight up, pointing towards the sky, maybe swaying gently from side to side. Whatever little movements that you need to do to get really comfortable here. And we're going to hold this pose for another minute or two, grounding through the upper body. Make sure both shoulders are rolled down and away from your ears so there's no tension in the neck. Let your upper body be soft, breathing deep into the belly. And just enjoy the pose. Start bending your knees until you can lower your feet all the way back down onto the mat. Lift your hips up a little just so you can move your block away and set it to the side. We're coming into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So just make yourself really comfortable here, maybe straightening out the legs. Bring your arms out wherever feels best for you, palms facing up. So you can keep your arms out on either side or maybe even reach them up overhead. If there's any pinching in your lower back here, keep your knees bent or maybe put a block under each knee. And start coming back to whatever breath feels natural to you. Close the eyes here so you can bring the focus inward. And just tune into the sensations of your body. Notice any areas that are still holding on to tension that you could release a little bit further. Softening through the jaw, neck, shoulders. Belly is soft, hips are relaxed. And just allow yourself to melt down into the mat. Thank you so much for taking this class with me today. I hope you enjoyed it and feel rejuvenated. If you did enjoy the class, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, or like the video and share it with your friends. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you again. Namaste.